Hey guys, it's Christine from Monk and Milo. On this video, I'm going to be going over the different types of water you may be using in your household to water your plants. If you have a Calathea and you've run into problems, you've probably Googled online and they've given you tips about using distilled or filtered water, or maybe even letting your tap water sit out for 24 hours before watering. And if you're like me, you may have wondered, does this really do anything to the water? So today I'm going to be testing 4 different types of water with my water meter here. And it's going to measure it in parts per million. So anything from 0 to 60 parts per million is considered soft water, so that'll be good for your plants. And then anything from about 60 to 180 we'll call hard water, and then over 180 would be considered very hard water. So I have this first one is tap water, LA tap water. So we'll go ahead and measure it and see what it's reading at. So this one is at 359 parts per million. Okay, so that is pretty hard water. And then this, in my watering can, this has been sitting out for about a day and a half. So we'll pour it into this shot glass here. Shout out to Canada. And this one is reading 343 parts per million. So still very hard water. It did make a little bit of a decrease, but nothing significant, I would say. And then the next one we'll do is this Arrowhead distilled water. And distilled water, I mean, we expect it to be pretty low. Okay, so this is reading at 2 parts per million, so that's very, very soft water. And that's what we expected. And this one is a zero water filter, which I got on Amazon for Christmas. You know you're old and lame when your Christmas wish lists become like a water filter. But honestly, this was for my plants and then secondarily for my consumption as well. So we'll measure this one. So this one advertises, I mean, the name is zero water, so it filters it down to 0 parts per million. Obviously, as you're using it, it's going to start filtering higher, and they recommend once you hit about 6 parts per million that you change out the filter. So let's see if it's still reading at 0. Yeah, so it's 0 parts per million, so no dissolved solids at all in here. I really like this filter. It's not even that expensive either. It was like $25 or so on Amazon for the pitcher. And then the filters are where it could be a little bit more expensive, obviously depending on how often you're using it and then how hard your water is to start. I've seen reviews that say they're maybe changing the filter like every 2 weeks or so, which is pretty often, but you can get it in bulk for like, I think a 12 pack for about $100, so that doesn't come out to too much per filter. Okay, so that's basically, so a summary, tap water was the worst as we expected. The tap water that sat out for a day and a half, it decreased a little bit, but nothing too significant. Distilled and filtered water were the best, reading at like 0 to 2 parts per million. For my plants, I generally reserve the filtered water for anything in the Marantaceae family, so that's any sort of prayer plant like a Calathea or a Maranta. And then for all my other plants, I just use room temperature tap water. I know it's not fair, but that's just kind of how it goes. If you guys obviously can afford to use filtered or distilled water for all your plants, then by all means do that. If you can't, that's fine too. Like using tap water on your plants, it's not going to kill it. If anything, it's just going to make the leaf edges be a little bit brown or a little bit unsightly, but it's nothing too horrible. I know this isn't like perfect science, there's a lot of other variables, but this is just to give you like a general idea of the water you're using. If you guys have any other comments or questions, please leave them below, and I'll see you guys next time.